Hi, this is Emily. I want to share with you this awesome hardback children's literature book haul that I came across. I'm super excited about this. These all came from a bargain book outlet. And I wanted to start with one of my favorite books of all time. This is The Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, but this is the anthology of all three of her the Astrid Lindgren's original books. I have these books all in paperback individual, but I had to have this. Pippi Longstocking is an extremely notable character in children's literature. The books were written between 1945 and 1948. And Pippi Longstocking is sort of the epitome of the children's orphan in children's literature, the child orphan in children's literature, and which is an extremely important reoccurring theme in children's literature if you think about all the orphans in children's literature. And this is part of what I'll be covering in my classic children's literature course that we're working on releasing for adults to the public. And Pippi Longstocking is a part of that. And Pippi Longstocking is also the sort of perfect example of the child who doesn't want to grow up like Peter Pan. But this book was fabulous. It was a super good bargain. And it has primarily black and white illustrations in it. Sorry, every time I hold up a book, it cuts the my lighting, you guys. So it's Pippi Longstocking. The original Pippi Longstocking book, the first one, is my favorite book of all time. There's also Pippy in the South Seas. And oh, this is fun. Pippy. So the writing, I don't necessarily love to read. I prefer paperback books. This also covers Pippy Goes on Board. And so Astrid Lindgren, of course, is a Swedish author. And so Pippi Longstocking, this is great for Pippi fans, or if you want to read all of the series to your children. Pippi Longstocking isn't, each individual story is like a little paperback novel. So it's not like a story you can just sit down and read as a bedtime story. It might take you every night for a week to read it to a child. But it's really brilliant. The writing is brilliant. The underlying symbolism, the metaphors, the themes, the representation, the everything not being what is seen. And Pippi Longstocking has been known as to be the sort of a representation of early feminism and on and on. So it's a really great book for studying for children's literature. I also got this one, which is Ivy Pocket. Look how fat this book is. This is Anyone But Ivy Pocket. Ivy Pocket is like a 12, 13-year-old girl, a maid who's kind of, I don't want to say troublesome, but I haven't read the book, so I don't know a lot about it. Here's the back cover. So I can read you the introduction. Meet the girl everyone's trying to avoid. Poor Ivy Pocket. Not only is she an orphan and all alone in the big wide world, but she is also a walking disaster who causes mayhem, misunderstandings, and mischief wherever she goes. So knowing this about Ivy Pocket, would you ask her to deliver a totally priceless, incredibly beautiful, and possibly cursed diamond necklace to Miss Butterfield in time for her 12th birthday? So this is, again, sort of another orphan in children's literature theme. We have a lot of that. Harry Potter is a perfect example. But this is a big book. And I think that there's more than one book. This might be the original. I'm actually not sure. I actually didn't know a lot about Ivy Pocket. I'd heard of it. I found it, picked it up. So if you'd like to see a review of this, definitely drop that in the comments below. But I imagine it's going to be sort of a mischief, sort of creative, clever, odd, quirky girl, kind of like Pippi Longstocking, maybe kind of a little bit like Enola Holmes, kind of a scenario we'll be looking at there. Okay. And of course, I picked up the gigantic book of, oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, I just want to make sure I make it clear, Caleb Crisp is the author of Polly Pocket. The Doldrums is by Nicholas Gannon. Huge, heavy book. This is on the back. You have, it's kind of written in like a newspaper editorial style. The Doldrums, and there is a second book of the Doldrums, which I have not read either. The Doldrums is purely an adventure book. And so it's about a little boy who grew up with his grandparents, or sort of who It has this house of oddities. They're kind of weird scientist type people, and they go missing on an iceberg. And I guess this is all about he ventures out with a friend of his to find or rescue them, according to this. So, but the book is, oh, is there an illustration in here? It is pretty heavy writing. It's a large book. There's about 380 pages. Okay, there are some illustrations in here that are sort of that sepia color, which is interesting. And I'm imagining the Doldrums is the land or the place that his grandparents go missing. Coincidental, this may be a spinoff of the Phantom Toll Booth, where the little boy from his bedroom goes into this place where, you know, everything is odd and quirky and kind of depressing and known as the Doldrums. So we'll have to see what the parallels are there when I read it. And I also picked up, super excited, and I probably showed this to you. I had another copy, which somehow I lent out and I never got it back just a couple months ago, but this is Mary Engelgbright's The Snow Queen. Snow Queen is a classic fairy tale, of course, by Hans Christian Andersen, one of my favorite books or fairy tales of all time, beautifully written, descriptive language, just the best example I've seen in children's literature of descriptive writing, which uses all the sensory, you know, taste, touch, sight, sound, smell, texture to really bring the snowy, icy world alive. But she does it, of course, in her beautiful illustration manner. And of course, Snow Queen is really pretty heavy writing. So this is probably, I imagine, a scaled down version done in a sort of a collectible type picture book. So I can do a video read of that also if anybody would like. And I picked up this Eloise in Moscow. Eloise in Moscow. The Eloise series you've probably heard of. There's several Eloise books. These drawings are by Hilary Knight. I guess they all are done by Hilary Knight, right? I don't know. I had an Eloise at Christmas time book. So this is Eloise in Moscow. And it's a really famous children's book series. This has kind of these yellow, grayscale, and black and white drawings in it. And of course, it's about another girl, which I imagine similar to Polly Pocket, who gets into mischief quite a lot. I do enjoy the pictures in the Eloise books, but there's actually quite a lot of writing. So it's not a real short read. They're kind of collectible books as well. I love Eloise at Christmas time, so I'm really super excited to read this one. And I think I had one at some point, this one given to me, and I again lent that one out. Never got it back. I guess you would think I would stop doing that. I picked up this, which is a hardback $10 bargain book, picture illustrated version of Galveros Travels, great for classic literature studies. This is illustrations on this one by Francesca Rossi, R-O-S-S-I. And of course, this is Jonathan Swift. If you've ever read Gulliver's Travels, the novel, it's pretty hefty. You know, it's pretty intense and hefty. For my undergraduate English literature major, this is definitely one of the earlier ones that I read, and I remember it being pretty. It was one of the top 100 greatest novels of all time listed. So, you know, I read all of those, and it was pretty, not really my style, another kind of adventure book as well. Some heavier classic writing in here. This book might be a good introduction to using it in your classroom or homeschool to sort of add pictures to the original concept of the story of Gulliver's Travels as well. So it was, who's the publisher of this book? I'm not sure. It's on the cover, but let me see if I can. VMB Publishers. So anyway, Gulliver's Travels, not one of my favorites, but classic literature is important, and I wanted to give this a read to see how much of this is scaled down or cut from the original or not, because it actually, nowhere in the book did it say. So like, I'll have to read it before I know. I also picked up these by Miles Kelly. These are really awesome These are more classic literature done in hardback illustrations, Peter Pan and the Jungle Book, nice heavy collectible books. These remind me a lot of the DK Science books, if you're familiar with those. I got these, here's the back, and they have quite a few others. I know there's Black Beauty. I know that there is, well, I think there's at least 10. I've seen at least 10 of them. Here's an example of the inside of the book. These are all done in a way that children that are a little bit younger, that don't really want to dive in or are not prepared or able with their reading skills to dive into the actual novel, which is some pretty advanced reading. So I like these, and here's the Jungle Book, and these are really fun as well. I got these on I think it was bookoutlet.com or something like that. The text in this one is a little bit bigger than in the other one as well. So I do enjoy different versions of classic literature. So, and I like to compare them to other versions. So I will review these after I read through them and compare them to the original stories or the original novels and tell you what I think. If you want to see a review of these after the fact, let me know. I can do a specific video, and that's it for today. Thanks everybody for watching, and let me know if there's any other books you'd like to see read and reviewed. Thanks.